given the times that we're living in, Chris, I just woke up after a few days last year that were pretty difficult for all of us based on the headlines we were reading, and thought, I probably ought to be a bit more involved in kind of issues of social injustice and racial injustice, especially. And to make that long story short, about that same time, I was invited to take a residency down at a historic estate plantation in Fairfax, Virginia, built on property that was at one time owned by George Washington, right across from, on the Potomac, right across from Mount Vernon. The estate is called Woodlawn, and it's open for tours and the like. So I went down for a week and was lucky enough to just sit and write. But while I was there, I thought, I need to invite some other poets here to try to evoke the story of the untold, almost erased enslaved community. At Woodlawn, at its peak, there were 90 slaves serving 9 white residents in the mansion. And the lives of those 90 slaves, largely unknown. They have first names of a few of them, and that's about it. They don't know where they lived on the estate. They just don't know much about them. So I invited 3 wonderful African-American poets and friends to go down, and they were very brave. They came in hesitantly, I think I'd have to say, but they spent a day with me there and just wandered inside and out the place and wrote poems. And one of the poets is also a visual artist, and so she painted some. And we've gathered up that work, combined it with harmonica, performed by a good friend and poet, also a harmonica player, and perform it as what we call the Voices of Woodlawn.
Singing Bells by Voices of Woodlawn.
It rained here, not from the tears of great skies, but those who shed and bled here.
Emotions soar high above cloudy gray skies. Silent tears slide rapidly down my face. Warrior queen rides bravely, ready to see all my ancestors endured.
I am not being led through these genteel halls. I'm being pushed. Each threshold crossed feels like praise forced through fearful throats. The words of our guide ease out with reverence. Was God ever inside here?
And what happened here? These voices, that precious, the lawn sweeps now, across vistas of yearnings, that river my overs, that hide in the corners their cries for freedoms so wanted.
This ghostly space, 91 enslaved and erased, each one of them hopeful songbirds they are, whispering under the saturated leaf, celebrating the daring, the crumb, and the least. They leak into hum, race into song.
Are the brick and mortar walls thick enough to muffle the moans of the people outside? Did they use the same cross-stitched sewing style on these pillows to close the skin of the disobedient? One more question, ma'am. Did the masters of Woodlawn ever realize just how close they were to God?
Bricks, wondering what exactly you're saying to me. Questions unanswered. Do we really want to know stories? Bricks are calling my name. Tell me, brave ancestors, what else Are they saying?
So what happened here? Around me and by me and through me. These forked tines of land love and shame.
Some utterance of a wind that knows where the wings of 4 hopeful birds dance into bravery enough to say, I will speak for you. My voice is your voice.
Wondering, how would I have responded? Like Queen leader I am today? Like Harriet going back and forth to get away? Like Fannie Lou Hamer, sick and tired of being sick and tired?
The guide asks us to marvel at what she calls classical European design, made by African craftsmen. Surprisingly, these skilled laborers weren't just slaves. They began as families, parents, children, elders, teachers, farmers, philosophers, astronomers, and craftsmen.
The sky is still blue and leaves are blowing as ever. So nothing has changed.
So sad, racism is still keen. Sad, so sad, oppression is still alive. Sadder than sad, some do not realize.
Your head is a lighthouse with windows, candles seeping in orange and soft gold, listening from the face that argues with convex shadows, spitting out moons, leaving rust in place of tears, walking aimlessly along the edge of knives, of lives, carved into red, into bricks, into their blindness, into prison brown skin.
Magenta, magical centerfold, swaying in hot pink, balmy breeze, like soothing zephyr, my heart appease.
The scars or gasps or flames inside souls like silent prayers or arrows through. All of these ask, what happened here? From my then that was and our still is now. This evil, holy aftertell.
Yes, sir. How may I be of service? Would you like another man? I learned quickly. Got good at counting how many times they lift their cups to drink. 4 sips, then I come out. If the guest knocks their tea to the floor, I'm gonna make sure my apology swoops into the room before my body does. This damn Earl Grey been misbehaving all week, and the teacup might have jumped. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Please, let me get that for you.
Thank you, Crepe Myrtle, for unity and comfort of standing together under branches of your spectacular tree.
One child holding bluebells and lilacs, another with a fistful of dogwood. The children have decided that the flowers will go to Miss Eleanor. Maybe they will be allowed to find out what home means.
I love this glowing, this opening, this door. There's a lighthouse in my head. 91 candles burn inside it.
Together, our voices are so different, these 4 bells of us. Each our own bell, distinctively tuned. Our individual ringing words of witness. for this world of need. Our separate bells, eager each to tell their story, of the stories never told at all. Join us in ringing these nighttime, day dawn, forever bells. These won't be silent ever again, truth tell bells.
Sit down in your door. Girl, if I can't come in, let me sit down in your door. I'll leave so soon, no one will ever know. Yeah, I'm broken, hungry, ragged and dirty. And hungry, I'm ragged and dirty too.
welcome back to another edition of Dillon Box. Thank you so much again for joining us. We had a wonderful time last week, and this time we're going to talk about something that's a little bit similar to what we spoke about last time. I'm Ryan Harsch.
I'm Chris LeRoy.
I'm Patrick Judy.
It's the magic of Zoom. Patrick's coming and joining us.
This show is brought to you by Zoom, which has saved a lot of jobs this last year.
This is true. You've prepared a new entry into the Dillon Box. What we got?
Yeah, so let's see here. We have Rough and Rowdy Ways. And it could be by anybody, really, because Dillon's name is not on this. It's on the spine, but, it's not on the front.
Rough and Rowdy Ways, set up initially from Murder Most Foul as a single that comes out in that March before this comes out in August.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, late summer, right?
Okay.
Mid to late summer.
And so what gets advertised then is that Dillon was going to be turning out a double album.
Mm-hmm.
And so whereas we didn't know about Murder Most Foul, there was no announcement about that. We were kind of knew that there were some things that there was an album coming, and then some singles started popping.
I believe you had 2 singles, right, before this even dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, Murder Most Foul, but then I Contain Multitudes.
And False Prophet.
Right, False Prophet. I don't know if you look at it's in the background, you see a shadow of someone on a rope. I don't know if that's supposed to symbolize anybody.
Ooh.
If you look at the hair.
Wow.
But very, very interesting. This is kind of a cool...
Someone was sneaking a little political.
Right.
However, this album comes out. Well, let's talk a little about singles. We know a little bit about Murder Most Foul, but when you first heard I Contain Multitudes.
Right.
Boy, you have a little bit of everything.
Right. Jazzed up the LP release.
I know that when we had talked a little bit right before we started, Patrick, you were sharing that you saw some similarities between I Contain Multitudes and Murder Most Foul.
They both start off and they sound similar. It's kind of like their bookends. And I kind of feel like the entire album could be autobiographical, and in the way that I Contain Multitudes, it's, I've done this, I've done that, I've sung this way, because he's done so many different styles of music throughout his career. And I almost feel like maybe he did in reverse order, because Murder Most Foul takes place back during the Kennedy assassination, or at least it starts out that way. So it's almost like a reverse, maybe it's like a rebirth.
That's an interesting idea, that these are these bookends, and the modern Dillon is right at the front, because I never quite thought about that, but his Containing Multitudes is that he's contained all these different versions of himself. Now he has there's a little bit of pride in that song in a way.
Sure. I mean, because it is, without saying it, we know he contains multitudes because he's worn so many hats. If you watch the movie, what is it? I'm Not There.
Oh, okay.
Right. That kind of just, that in itself just shows you all these kind of different personas that Dillon can inhabit and has inhabited. So, yeah, it is a little boastful.
Mm-hmm.
This is like I'm but it's like it's almost like sense of pride in his age, and he's like, I've been through it and I've seen all these things, and this is what I inhabit.
Close to that idea, but I was thinking it more universal, that in some ways he's sort of presents of every person, that all of us are this culmination, these good things, these kind of arrogant things, of these hard experiences and these successful experiences, that all of us contain multitudes. We're really many things, and we're building off of these pieces of ourselves. And it was like interviews with him early on. And he's done this forever. He just lie about, I came from a circus. So my parents were,
I lived down in New Mexico for a while. You did not. You've been a Minnesota boy.
Right, yeah. Every place except the state he was from. And so this notion of that kind of pulling your leg and I'm this mystical person was in his DNA.
Right.
And so I think it even washes all the way up into this song to say, I'm all these different people and none of them. But I think it goes back to the thing you're saying, Patrick, because the album starts with this emergence of this person and this formless music, and then it proceeds. So was that one of the first songs, Patrick, that hit you when you first got into it, or was there a song that jumped out to you early on for the album?
I think that one really jumped out at me. I mean, well, after Murder Most Foul, because that was the one I heard first, but Multitudes was the next one I heard, and it really grabbed me when I heard it. And the thing I was talking about the rebirth is, I know in the song Mother of Muses, he mentioned something about I've outlived my life, or something to that effect, or I've outlasted mine.
So he's really kind of marveling at his own
reflection.
His ability just to stay in the game. One of the interesting things about rock music, rock and roll music initially, is that it was really only the blues players that got old in front of us, and it was okay. You could be an old blues guy. You would have
distinction.
You would have this wisdom, and so if you went and saw B.B. King, he's still playing that riff, but it's the greatest blues inflection that you're ever going to hear. Influenced multitudes. You don't have Chuck Berry's Murder Most Foul, but a guy like Dillon, this is our first experience, and maybe last experience, with someone who's going to outlast himself.
This is Tupperware. Tupperware comes in all shapes, all sizes. One way to buy Tupperware is a fun way, at a Tupperware home party. To find out about Tupperware parties, look in the yellow pages under housewares or plastics, or write to Tupperware, Orlando, Florida. Stay tuned, because later on we'll show you a beautiful gift that can be yours if you go to or have a Tupperware party between now and May 6th.
And as for compensation, well, there's a little he would add. Takes a woman like you to get through to the man in me. Storm clouds are raging all around my door. I said to myself, I might not take this anymore. Takes a woman like you to get through to the man in me. But oh, what a wonderful feeling, just to know that you are near. Yeah, sets my heart reeling from my toes and then right up to my ears. The man in me will hide sometimes to keep from being seen, but that's just because he doesn't want to turn into some machine. It takes a woman like your kind just to find the man in me. But oh, what a wonderful feeling. Yeah, just to know that you are near. Yeah, to set my heart reeling from my toes right up to my ear. Yeah. ground, I'd rather be there. Who can breathe so crowded in here? I've not spoken to my mother. Siren's warning.